Okay, so we're checking out the sinks. So these are Western red cedar. These are the boards. So they're laying out the north wall. So this is where the window would go for the north side. And basically it's rough cut on the top. And on the bottom, they've planed it slightly. So it'll be smooth on the back side, rough on the front. And then the goal for right now is just to understand how the staining is going to look and whether or not we're going to go forward with the Shosugi bond burning process or else. There have been some issues apparently with the burning and the uptake of the stain. So we'll try to figure out if we just want to stain and not do the burn. To be determined.
Burned and brushed, no stain.
Oh yeah, sorry, thank you.
Burned, brush, stained.
Okay, yep.
Burned, not brushed.
Yep.
And then this is burned, not brushed, stained.
Stained, right, okay. And then this is
yeah. Not burned.
Yeah. Pure stain.
Pure stain.
One coat, we
One
think.
coat. No, it is.
Oh, it is one coat?
One coat.
Definitely one coat.
From this morning.
Okay.
So it's not even like fully penetrated, but it's quite good.
Yep. And then this one's a little bit of an unknown. This is lightly burned, we know that.
This is lightly burned.
Yep.
Lightly burned with stain on it.
Yep.
But it looks unburned.
Yeah, got it.
And then now that we can...
This one we're a little less sure about.
No, we're not. This...
Oh, and then this one is also planed on the back side. This is also
This is planed.
This is a planed surface as well, which is slightly different. Yep. Okay. And then this unplaned surface, lightly burned.
Unplaned, lightly burned.
Yep.
Burned.
Yep. Yeah.
Sanded, unburned, stained.
Mm-hmm.
Less sanded, unburned, stained.
Mm.
Raw, unburned, stained.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got yeah, you got it. Okay, well, today's an extremely exciting day. Coming out a little bit late again. But today is the day when the ProPanel has officially become, or has begun, to be installed. So that's extraordinarily exciting. So we're going to go through and take a look at the different components here, but it looks like basically we have the south and the west wall, what we're going to be probably calling our Bravo enclosure until we have a better name. So looks like we also have quite a bit of cabling coming through, just high enough off the ground for me, looks like. So that's okay. So we're at the south paddock. So we can see we have the walls here. So this is the ProPanel. It's going to go down approximately 2 to 2.5 feet. This is steel. You can see we have the 2x4s on the back. That's sort of the main framing. So far what they have done, as far as I can tell, is they've only used the self-tapping screws for the top 2x4, and they have not fixed the bottom yet. I'm going to assume that's probably because the backfill, which is going to use a lot of this dirt, also some squeegee, and I believe some gravel as well, is going to cause that bottom panel to shift a bit. So they're probably, if I had to guess, they're going to do that last. The other thing that you can see is that we have the steel cable running through these eyelets all the way around the enclosure, both here and also at the top. So that netting that's going to go over this entire thing will come over here and actually will clip, most likely with carabiners, we think, to the steel cable. And so that's going to allow us during the winter to basically unclip those carabiners all the way around, let the net sink to the floor. We'll wrap it up, put it into our storage room, and set it up again later in the spring when we start up again. So going around here, we can see things look pretty good. You can see that these panels are kind of coming away from each other right now, probably because there's some dirt right there. And again, you can see this is the connection point. So the overlap is relatively minor. It's just this section right here. So that is always a concern. So at a previous field sites, this is like the weak point. This is where you really have to be careful with animals trying to get out. So there are a couple ways to get around that. There's a sealant you can put in there. Obviously the best way is just to have them be as flush as possible. But you can also add sealant, and you can also add more of these sort of self-tapping screws to pinch these together and prevent an animal from getting their head through there. So right now I'm feeling actually very good about this. I'm not too concerned. It looks really tight, and I think that will continue to be the case as we move forward. But basically we have these overlap points. I think each panel is approximately I want to say it's around 4 feet wide. So we have those overlap points about every 4 feet. So the other thing that we have going on here is the cabling that's going across the entire enclosure or paddock. You can see it's relatively taut right now. That's pretty tight. I mean, this thing's rock solid. So I'm feeling very good right now about the ability of this support structure to hold up a net, excuse me, which is going to be for preventing aerial predation. Just compared to the field site at Cornell, the Liddell field site, this is a much more sturdy structure. So that is somewhat encouraging, I think. It's important to note that these 4-inch poles here, they're actually embedded within concrete. So I believe at certain locations, you can kind of see it here, they've cut a little bit of the metal sheeting here up. So it comes over the concrete pad and goes back down. So as long as it's relatively flush with the concrete pad, I'm not too concerned. And again, there's gonna be gravel going over here as well. So, but having that concrete pad allows this, 4-inch pole to be about as rock solid as you can imagine it being. So here you can see this is the east wall. It looks like what they're doing is they're kind of checking to see that the depth is going to be acceptable for this side. So, it's been a couple of weeks or more since they actually trenched out this area. I feel like that's really evident because you can even see some of the grass starting to come back within the trench. So they're actually coming around as they're doing this install with pickaxes and shovels and sort of getting out any kind of loose soil that's fallen in or kind of been rained in over the course of the last several weeks. So they're going to get it to the right depth before installing each of the ProPanel elements. And this is the door design. I haven't seen the doors yet, but I believe they have a design figured out for it. Oh, there's a little bunny. Lots of bunnies here. But this is going to be sort of the door threshold. So the door would swing shut, and sort of because it's this circular thing, it should kind of be nice and flush with this pipe. We'll see how that works. I actually don't know. This was a design from the company. This was their suggestion, so I am optimistic. I haven't seen something like this before. It's very different from what we had at Liddell, but I think it's still, we'll see what it looks like, but I think it's going to work fine. And even if it's not like the perfect solution, there are always ways to patch things as we move forward. So, all right, so now we are actually in the enclosure, which is pretty cool. So you can kind of see, we'll go walk over to the fence line just to see what it's going to look like if you were a vole or any other rodent sort of actually in the enclosure. You can also see that these middle pipes, which these stand at around 6.5 feet tall, I think at the moment, they're also embedded in concrete, so they're extremely sturdy. This is all sort of the loose fill material. The plan was to dig this back up and recover the concrete once we were all done here. But you can see it's rained and dried, and so now we have this kind of caked mass. So we're gonna have to dig that up and sort of cover that concrete pad at some point in the future once everything else is done. And then what we're gonna do is come out here and water everything to try to get the grass to grow back up and look a lot more like what we have sort of in the back fields there and over there, which does look like fantastic habitat. All right, so this is the northwest corner. And you can see we can sight down that line, so that's 75 feet that way, 75 feet that way. And so just generally in conclusion, a ton of progress here at the site. It's extremely encouraging, and I'm extremely impressed with the overall design and implementation. So there's been a lot of steady progress, and we may be on target for approximately getting most of the things done in August, which is really phenomenal. There are lots of other steps to get done once we clear the hurdle of finishing the construction. The number one thing being making sure that we can actually get approval for the site, make sure it passes all the necessary inspections from campus, and then moving forward with getting the site approved for animal work. So it is a long process, but it's been really rewarding, and honestly, it just looks, this is a really phenomenal site. Can't beat that view either. All right, so we're going to test to see if my audio actually is being captured via my microphone, which is on my lapel. If I had to guess, it probably is not being captured, but we'll see.